Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. This is Agent Fluffy, and I apologize for the delay. I've been busy with a bunch of things I have to deal with. School, homework, yada, 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 yada. Probably don't much care about that. So, anyway, this is Reharmonized Ponies. We're going to do Twilight Sparkle. So, it's called Reharmonization Twilight Sparkle. Turn the other flank. So, let's get started. Greetings and salutations. I am Twilight Sparkle. I know this seems gratuitous since you wouldn't be here if you didn't already know who I am, but I feel it sets a tone for things to come. Or maybe I just want something normal and polite to make things down. Either way, a lot has happened since we last spoke. I know you all heard about how we defeated Discord and once again saved the world. But what those stories won't mention, for the sake of the little fillies who read those stories, is the weeks it's taken for the ponies in Ponyville and Canterlot to recover psychologically from the trauma inflicted by Discord. At least to where they can live their lives again. Yes, I know, you've heard all this before, but laying down the groundwork like this helps me think. And I did some hasty thinking on my part before. Twists and turns on my master plan, and find the elements back where you began. In spite of the horrible cost of my assumption regarding the elements being within the hedge maze, I didn't really dwell on it long after. Discord is a cheater. What I did to Fluttershy is proof enough. If we had gone to, say, the Everfleet Forest first, or to my old bedroom in Canterlot Castle, Discord would simply have had his game there, and if we tried Ponyville first, I know he would have simply moved the elements somewhere else. So I cannot feel guilty for making the wrong choice, when no matter what the choice I made, it would have been jury-rigged to be the wrong one. There is no such thing as fair play with Discord. The only reason we won is because he couldn't comprehend the idea of us forging our friendships back together. He was right. If Celestia hadn't sent me back my own letters to her, I'd left Ponyville and my friends would have stayed their discorded selves. I shiver when I think of the possibilities of what would have happened after. No, Applejack hasn't told me about that part of her visions she apparently had when she met the princess. Don't ask me how she had them, and I'm very glad she has not. After Applejack told me about some pony who needed my help in Hoofington, after she had just spent the entire day apparently helping half of Ponyville, I have to say I was very surprised. When she told me who it was I had to help, I was even more stunned. Of course I asked how she knew. She said she learned about it during her meeting with Princess Celestia. I still find it disjointed that Celestia would command an audience with AJ and Applebloom, but not the rest of us. But I had no reason not to trust AJ and every reason to trust her. And I was honestly more confounded on a pony who Discord has seemingly taken a personal interest in, and thus has apparently not been cured by Discord's sealing. But why her? Okay, this is Discord we're talking about. But while he wasn't as insane as he acted, he was fully capable of being tactical when he wanted to be. And from all accounts, he had corrupted her at the same time or soon before that Discord was picking us off one by one. It made no sense. I know, Discord. But seriously, when it came to breaking us, there was a method to his madness. So why her of all ponies? Maybe Discord knew about my encounter with her, like he seemed to know everything about us, and was planning on using her somehow as a plan B in case his first plan of breaking me through with my friends didn't work. I doubt I'll ever know for sure. This is Discord I'm talking about, and trying to figure her out is usually a waste. You have no idea how much I wanted to leave as soon as Applejack told me. However, I had responsibilities in Ponyville then, and there included requested gossamer wind spells for traumatized Paysai, making sure one of my friends didn't party herself to death, and being one of the least traumatized ponies in Ponyville, acting as a town organizer, while others ran themselves ragged in their work trying to escape the scars Discord has let on them. So, after 3 weeks, and finally getting Pinkie Pie to sleep via cutting off our supply lines of caffeine, I knew I had delayed far too long. Rainbow Dash really wanted to tell me something before I left. I had to tell her that it would have to wait until I got back, sadly. She looked very crestfallen at that. Maybe it was the wrong thing to do, but I saw how awful my friends were when they were tainted by Discord for, effectively, a day. A pony who had been that way for the better part of a month? I don't know if I was being oblivious, compassionate, or egocentric, but all I knew was I had delayed going to help her more than I ever should have. I know what the others thought of her, and they had every right to, but there was something too painfully familiar in that stuck-up, full of herself, loudmouth drama queen for me to just turn a blind eye to her and just brush her off as beyond saving. And it wasn't like I was going to leave any pony to suffer as Discord's legacy if I had a say in it. Rainbow Dash left looking none too happy, and more than a little flustered. I really wish I had two of me. Rarity, I don't know how long I'm going to be gone. Mare seems to have recovered from the worst of it, but just in case, I'm leaving all my notes and plans with you. I floated over to the best-looking saddlebag I owned, knowing Rarity would have been even more likely to complain if it was anything less, full of scrolls and books. What? Rarity's jaw dropped. I don't know how long I'm going to be gone. Could be hours, could be days. If anything disruptive happens, I need the most organized pony I know besides me. Spike is staying here, and you know he'll be more than willing to help you with anything you need. Now there's a couple spell scrolls and they're wired, so any adult unicorn can use them, so don't worry about sweet belting or hooves on them too much. On the second thought, do worry because those took a long time to make, and I'd rather not have to spend the time to make replacements. They're mostly just for some spells I've been requesting for on a weekly basis. Hopefully I'll be back and forth. So Twilight! Rarity interrupted at last her manner to push the limit. How could you just drop this on me? And I'd appreciate some details on this mission or whatever it is you're up to. I told you before coming here, I'm just going to help someone Discord hurt as badly as us. You're my only hope. And you expect me to hold on to your things while you're gone and act out any duty of yours related to magic out of the goodness of my heart? Yes, element of generosity, Rarity said in a completely even voice. Blast you, Twilight Sparkle! Look, it's all just in case. If anything major turns up, just have Spike Dragon mail me. I hope I'm not going to be gone all that long, and I'm giving these to you just in case I can't be back in time for something unexpected. Rarity sighed. Alright, well, how do you know that you're not the only one who has taken on the extra responsibilities for the sake of others right now? I'm very sorry, Rarity, but I'm pulled in a lot of directions as it is. I promise I'll be back as soon as I can. We nuzzled each other and I raced home to pack a few essentials. I wish I had been to Hoofington before. Then with some intense efforts on my part, I could have just teleported there. But with nothing to directly visualize except a few maps, I didn't want to risk teleporting inside the wall of a newly built gift shop. Normally there were safety measures built in to prevent that sort of disaster. But the greater the distance, the more likely mistakes could happen if you weren't being prepared for on the other end. Realistically, I should have spent time trying to get to Hoofington to prepare for my arrival, but there's been so much in Ponyville that needed doing so very much. After Applejack told me and I accepted, Princess Celestia sent me news ahead of time that I'd be coming eventually to see my patient, but had neglected to organize my arrival. Yes, I've been feeling overworked. What precisely was your first clue? As it was, Celestia was willing to provide me some extra fast Royal Pegasi transport, so at least the trip there would be less time consuming than the trip back via teleportation. Yes, I figured I could pull it off. Are you secure, Lady Sparkle? One asked in a 10-hut voice once we were in the air. I checked myself over and wondered about the addition of seatbelts in the chariot, but made sure I was indeed securely fastened. Yes, I am, I answered politely. Are you sure? Asked the second one. If I was a paranoid pony, I think they were kidnapping me. Absolutely. Then hold on, please. Hold on to what? And then I'd scream like a little filly. Ah! These weren't the normal Pegasi troopers who normally carted very important ponies to and from Cantelon. These boys were born and bred to move like lightning. The wind pressed my lips and eyelids open, and I shed tears from the gale force and wondered whose bright idea was not to install a windscreen in this thing. These boys couldn't make the wonderbolts they wanted. Instead, they opted to try and give nice lavender unicorns heart attacks. I couldn't really enjoy the landscape below or the mountain ranges in the distance due to spending the first few minutes screaming my lungs out that my caring and considerate transport was perfectly happy to ignore. Then I finally calmed down enough to simply hang on for dear life, even though I was indeed properly secured in a modified chariot. I swear on Princess Celestia's cutie mark, I did not cry out for mommy. I will not bore you with details of being dragged along through the air at near sonic rainbow speeds. I shall indeed inform you that my transport was kind and considerate enough to slow down gradually when we approached our destination, so we wouldn't go splat against the front of the golden chariot. Realistically, I suppose I should have been very grateful that my ride was as swift as it was. I wanted to get there fast after all, but I was too busy being grateful. I had chosen on a whim not to bring any unsecured, non-gravity immune books with me as I normally would for a long trip through the air. For a second I thought we had gone in a big loop. A relatively small town with a much more impressive building, almost overlooking it in the dead of the night. Then I realized what I was seeing wasn't Canterlot, nor were the streets and buildings below me Ponyville. I shuddered almost when I realized just how much alike Hoopington was to Ponyville. Instead of Canterlot overshadowing it in the distance was a fairly impressive magic school. I learned later that while, like Ponyville, it was founded by Earth ponies, unicorn settlers and immigrants had long since supplanted the original population into a minority. It was a rather strange seeing so many unicorns among architecture done mostly in Earth pony style. Princess Celestia provided an address of who it was I should expect, and I wondered, was this really where she had come from? The Pegasi asked if I was alright right after landing and after disengaging myself from that accursed chariot, and after concluding I'd live, but not live well. They were quick to depart, leaving Princess Celestia's personal envoy and apprentice in the middle of a little nowhere town, this time with her best, and at the time only, friend to help her along. Thankfully, Hoopington was like Ponyville in another way. The locals were overwhelmingly welcoming and friendly, apparently having more from nightlife than Ponyville. Though I wasn't assaulted by Congo Lion ponies who seemed eager to use the word friend at least once in our introduction, and lined up perfectly with the personality profiles needed to use the elements of harmony. I began to wonder greatly if Princess Celestia arranged for my friends to be assigned their positions in Ponyville before ordering me to make some friends where I inevitably met each of them. It was hardly beyond her to go over the psychological profile of every pony in Equestria and pull strings for them to be assigned or moved to Ponyville. Though Applejack's family had been in Ponyville apparently for generations, both Fluttershy and Rainbow Dash had moved from Cloudsdale. Pinkie Pie came from wherever it was she did, and finally Rarity acted sometimes out of place among the rest of Ponyville locals. I didn't know if I should feel awed or played like a chess piece if this was true. But the princess had never had anything but Equestria, and most importantly, its pony's best interests at heart, and decided that if it were true, I should just be impressed with what 1,000 years of planning and preparation could. 1,000 years? Well, what about decades? Has Celestia chosen me as her student, in particular, for curing Princess Luna of Nightmare Moon? I almost stopped dead in my tracks as I had a momentary existential crisis regarding fate and free will, and really wished Spike was there to give me one of his layman terms remarks. In a flash of paranoia, I wondered if she had bred bloodlines for the express purpose of creating ponies who perfectly aligned with the elements before I stopped myself and remembered that the Princess Celestia I knew could never be so detached even for the sake of all of Equestria. I breathed in deep, taking in Princess Luna's cold night air. This was absurd. I had to focus before I accidentally drove myself crazy. No matter what games the princess played, I knew her love for me and those under her care wasn't a performance, and that was enough. Following some very kind directions from a random unicorn, I arrived at a rather mundane house. It was not run down by any stretch of the imagination, nor was it any kind of disrepair or destitution, but it just seemed so normal. The kind of house you give a glance to and never think about the first time. It was not dressed up fancy, nor did it have any quirky traits that would draw attention to itself. It was a single-story home with a front and backyard and an atypical front door. I really didn't like the idea of showing up this late at night. Or was it early in the morning? But I figured I had delayed them long enough, and I really didn't want to go to the trouble of finding a room to rent out yet. And maybe I felt a little guilty at making them wait as long as I had, and where these delays had in fact somehow made her condition incurable. I bit the crossbow bolt and telekinetically knocked on the door. I waited a minute, wondering if I should just come back in the morning when the residents weren't likely to be angry with me, when I saw a soft blue glow behind the window come to the front door. "Who is it?" said a strangely familiar female voice from behind the door. She sounded groggy, but not really hostile for having been woken up in the middle of the night. I stumbled over to what I had been planning to say. "I was told I'm from Ponyville. I was sent to look at who was tainted by discord. I am very, very, very sorry for taking so long. I deeply apologize. And I can understand if you hate me, but please, at least let me try. I really want to help her. I really do. But there are just so many in Ponyville who needed help too. And are you Twilight Sparkle?" The mayor's voice on the other side interrupted. I was shaken out of my mea culpa. "Yes, I'm Twilight Sparkle. Is Trixie here?" The door opened as I was greeted on the other side of a light blue unicorn with a silver mane and kind violet eyes. "Yes, she is." "Trixie?" I gasped out. The unicorn shook her head, gentle and apologetically, and showed me her flank, which shows a pair of fairy wings connected to a book. "Oh no, I'm Nixie. I'm her sister." I recovered slightly. "Trixie, I didn't know she had a twin." "Oh, none of us are twins. We all just happen to look more alike than most siblings do. Puck and Robin don't look nearly as much alike as we do." I tried to stay afloat to see confusion and incomplete information. "Puck and who?" "Oh, I'm sorry." Nixie bowed her head a few times. "Puck and Robin Goodfellow are my brothers. They don't live in Hoovington anymore and aren't here right now, though. They did visit a couple weeks back and asked us to keep them informed." "Who is us?" "Well," Nixie turns up her eyes and thoughts for a moment. "You're here, and we're all here anyway, so I guess now's as good time for introductions as any." I opened my mouth to question the logic as Nixie floated a copper pot and ladle told her to herself and banged them together in quick succession. "Everyone, wake up! The daughter from Catalog is finally here! Front and center, let's do this!" Rather not humble yet not grand dwelling, the ruckus of ponies falling and jumping out of bed assaulted my ears along with noises I wasn't sure I wanted to identify, and before the noise of the ladle I had a chance to finish ringing in my ears, I was staring in astonishment. 3 other ponies galloped into the room, a couple trying to shake off sleep while simultaneously trying to perform some simple cartwheels or somersaults before lining up alongside Nixie. I couldn't take my eyes off them. I was in a room with 4 Trixies. Okay, I had only had this nightmare once or twice before. The first being with my friends that I had that blind taste cook-off, and I was very sure what I got was Rainbow Dash's cooking. Maybe the Pegasus would wake me up soon. "Sound off!" declared Nixie, holding her hooves off like Pinky at the climax of her evil and tantrum song. The others assumed equally Super Pony Ranger-esque poses. I could tell they were a few years apart in age. I still found myself befuddled. "Presenting Nixie the eldest!" Her keen remark was a pale moon with the outline of a witch flying against it. "Pixie, the second eldest!" A black and white pamphlet. "Nixie, the second youngest!"
And Lexi, the youngest.
Half a tragedy and half a comedy mask. But unlike another pony I had once read about, these masks were black and white. "In attendance!" shouted Nixie as a calling out to an audience. "The Midsummer Night Sisters!" When no fireworks occurred, I began to suspect I wasn't dreaming after all, as the three other ponies huffed and slowly broke out of their poses.
I still think the name is corny, said Pinky, breaking pose first. The name is fine. It's the poses that are corny, said apparently Lexi, looking at her apparent sister. Looking at four Trixies chatting among themselves was threatening to shut my brain down, but I managed to keep going. So you're Dr. Sparkle? Asked Missy, trotting up to me.
I finally realized I was still in the front door and slowly trotted in. It's just Twilight Sparkle, actually. I'm not a doctor. Pixie was in my face a little too much in an instant.
Then why are you here to help Trixie? Nixie just said you were the doctor from Canterlot.
For some reason, I was sweating. I am from Canterlot, and I am here to help Trixie. A doctor can't cure what she has, so that's why I'm here. She continued to stare at me. I know what I'm doing. I've done this multiple times before without trouble. I'm sure to have your sister back to normal in no time. Pixie continued to stare at me as Mixie then pulled her away.
I don't know. I'm starting to like her the way she is, says Lexi, sitting on her haunches. She doesn't try to get out of anything you want to do together with her. She's a great listener now, and Lexi, that's not funny!
Said the three together like it was conditioned reflex.
Only joking,
Lexi defended meekly. Seriously, you can cure it, right? Nixie asked, almost playing with rather un-Trixie-like big eyes. I'm absolutely sure I can, I said with as much confidence as I could muster. But I'm sad to say I wasn't given many details. What's she like now? She's like a doll, Nixie said flatly. My adult brain responded on its own. She likes dressing up in tea parties? No, Nixie responded a tiny bit harshly. I mean, like a doll. She barely responds to anything. Pixie has to keep an eye on her to make sure she feeds herself. And when we can get her to respond to anything, she goes through the motions like a robot. We're just lucky she can still go to the little Lily's room by herself. Talking to her is like talking to a rock that happened to look like my little sister. Trying to process all this information at once, I grasped the last name. Little sister?
Trixie is the middle,
Pixie offered helpfully. I managed to file away that piece of information. I think I was beginning to understand something, but I wasn't sure what. The overnight trip without sleep from Ponyville to here was beginning to take its toll as I spouted out the obvious. You are a little sure look-alike. Thanks, said Pixie politely. When we go outside, we actually like to hide our cutie marks. It's like the idea of a joke, and the locals that turn it into a game to try and guess who's who when they see us. Trixie never really took part. Unless I blackmail her, said Lexi.
Or I guilt-tripped her, said Mixie.
Or I bribed her, jumped in Pixie.
Or I just ask really nicely,
Nixie said, last looking at her sister with an unreadable expression. Point is, she wasn't really a team player, said Mixie simply. But I still rather have her than what she is now. Mixie's face contorted in discomfort as she stumbled over the second half of her sentence. I'll get on as soon as I let out a very large yawn. My tiredness catching up with me faster and faster. Nixie trotted up to me and nuzzled me in the face. Maybe you should get some sleep first. I don't think Trixie is going to be any worse tomorrow morning. I'm fine, I said before another yawn came out and my eyelids had mysteriously begun to turn to lead. Seriously, said Nixie in a polite but slightly forceful voice. We'd rather have you perform this spell or whatever you need to do when you're awake, and won't accidentally turn my little sister into a potted plant. Oh, don't be silly, I said, my legs slowly taking on the consistency of pudding.
The only ponies I ever turned into potted plants were my parents, and they so totally went back to normal afterwards. I think having me chosen as the goddess's chosen one offset any chance of a pathological fear their own child from forming, which is really cool, because though I think of her mom just a mother to me, I still love my parents and my real mom too. I know I don't talk to them much, but hey, as Ophelia becomes a mayor, she's expected to strike out her own, right? Right, said Trixie with a witch humor. So you're asleep on yours now. Got it. Lexi, go get a blanket from the cupboard. All right, said Trixie with mask humor. Trixie with flying book humor led me to a nice comfy couch. I mean, can you believe some earth ponies? I know their magic isn't as visible as ours or flying ponies, but just because we don't know our who's all the time doesn't mean magic isn't straight and hard work, just like plowing a field is. Dang it! You know what I mean? I asked the poor, much nicer Trixies, not really sure which one I was talking to, and wondering what I thought had popped up. Likely the same place all these Trixies came from. Right, said Trixie with flying book cutie mark, and the voice that strangely reminded me of how Fluttershy spoke sometimes, as I fell onto the surprisingly comfy couch and closed my eyes for a bit. Maybe I should rest for just a tiny bit after the party marathon with Pinkie. Organizing the psychologist's appointments for nearly all of Ponyville, casting that mean spell again, and traveled far across the sky. I don't know why, but my dreams felt incomplete that night. Like they were just words floating in a black, misty sea of confusion, stunted, uninspired. Not wanting to grow into complete sentences or images, and I was swimming in the mess of it. Was I really so tired that I couldn't even dream properly? Maybe Pinkie Pie wasn't the only one who needed some rest, whether she liked it or not. Maybe it was all the Trixie lookalikes I saw. But I did dream a groggy image of my Philly days, listening to one of Celestia's one-on-one lessons, except I wasn't alone in this broken half-dream. There was another Trixie sitting next to me, with a cutie mark that was colored inverted version of mine. I know my dreams are supposedly often a reflection of the subconscious, but if this dream held any meaning, it was lost on me. When I woke up the next morning, I felt like I slept a week, the sun was already high in the sky, and I saw the youngest of Trixie's apparent sisters, the one with the masked cutie mark. What was her name again? Flexi? Bexley? Ugh, who invented specialized words for personal names anyway? The vast majority of ponies are perfectly happy with the compound names for names. Right. Celestia wasn't exactly a common noun. Right. I am the dumb unicorn. I'll change the subject now. I just hope I dreamed the part where I shut my mouth off last night and taken myself in a very deep hole was just part of my convoluted dreams last night. Why couldn't it have been that dream with that cult I did exactly 2 times so I entered the flux between Philly to marehood? Good morning, you're, Lexi? Good morning, my name is Lexi. I'm so sorry. Normally I absorb details like a dry sponge. I didn't think I was that tired last night. Lexi looked at me slyly. Did you know you apparently sometimes spell magical formulas in your sleep? I'm pretty sure it's impossible for me to be that tired. Lexi shrugged. Believe what you want to believe. So, I finally remembered my manners. Thank you for letting me sleep in your house last night. It was very generous of you considering how long I let your sister suffer. I actually wanted to wake you up with an exploding paper bag, and Pixie wanted some nice loud music to wake you up by, but Nixie convinced Pixie to have us let you sleep in. I'll be sure to tell her I thank you, I said, getting up and stretching muscles. She's in the kitchen if you want. It's about time to feed Trixie anyway. I wondered for a moment that Lexi had spoken like someone's going about a routine of feeding a pet. Then I saw her point body language wasn't callousness, it was numbness. It's my turn to fetch her. Hold on. Lexi walked out of the parent living room as I got my bearings. Now that it wasn't dark as night, I saw the house had clearly once been a dwelling meant for earth ponies, but had been modified to service the basic yet different long-term needs of a unicorn family. Many things were placed where telekinesis was the only way of reaching them. I wasn't that shocked or really alarmed. Families move in and out of houses and different ponies have different needs. Trixie, time to come out, came Lexi's shout.
I turned my head and curiously looked down the short hallway Lexi had vanished down and saw her in front of the doorway. Miss Lexi waited for a moment, then pushing it open and going inside. I couldn't help myself and went down the hall and looked inside the doorway. It was a room with 3 bunk beds and 1 single. The single looked like it could be, or had been, connected to one of the others in need be. But I didn't have time to take in any other real details as my attention got drawn totally to the unicorn Lexi was pointing out of the single bed. Of all the unicorns I'd seen in this house so far, this one looked and acted the least like Trixie. The fact that she wasn't wearing Trixie's hat and cape had nothing to do with it. As Lexi pulls her out of bed, I saw indeed Trixie's cutie mark on this mare's flanks, but that just made it more jarring. The pony seemed to be constantly looking down, not making eye contact with any pony. Her expression was a broken melancholy that never wavered. Then I saw how a pony moved. I remember a mechanical pony I had seen shown off by one of my classmates at Camelot. Its halting movements and the stiff limbs, its lifeless expression, the way it moved on its own but with no life. But that pony had been tin-plated, and I could easily see the key and the gears between the joints. Here, all I saw was coat and hide, breath being taken in and out, and those exact same lifeless movements. I swallowed my gasp of shock and alarm, and galloped straight back to the living room. Lexi must have heard me, but she made no references to it as she led Trixie into the living room. Trixie didn't even look at me, though there was no way she could have missed me. "Come on, Trixie, Nixie is waiting for us," Lexi said gently as she prodded along the pony with muted versions of her own colors. I tried my best not to be rude, not to proud Trixie, and not to make it look like I was trying to keep my distance. I followed them into the kitchen, and Nixie had some places already set, and was just finishing drying a couple other plates. "Good morning, Trixie," she said happily and moved up to her big sister. "How are you this morning?" Trixie didn't respond. "Well, I'm sure you feel better after you had something in your stomach," Nixie said with a smile. The breakfast was generic scrambled eggs all around. I didn't mind it. Trixie didn't use her telekinesis. I wasn't that shocked. Trixie used her face like a nerve pony. The other two didn't make any complaint about Trixie's apparent lack of unicorn table manners. I'd been told that later they had tried exactly once to try and feed her manually, and her jaw was closed like a steel trap until they stopped. Lexi had apparently tried to simply close off her breathing passages to force her to open her mouth. That hadn't ended well. "Trixie, this is Twilight Sparkle. She's an expert. We told you about who's to help you. Twilight Sparkle, this is my big sister Trixie." Trixie's eyeballs barely shifted in my direction, and I noticed it was like she was trying to soundlessly mouth my name, but her jaw didn't want to comply. Nice to meet you, Trixie," I said, doing my best to be polite. As I ate in silence and Nixie kept trying to coax some reaction from her sister, I didn't want to look at Trixie, but I could pull my eyes away either. It was like some grotesque puppet show as the pony's body was moved along with invisible strings. "So you came from Canterlot?" Lexi asked, looking at me up and down as trying to figure out some telltale sign. "Technically, I came from Ponyville, but I was effectively raised in Canterlot. I spent the last year in Ponyville for, personal studies. I mean, I was studying friendship, was sure to make me blush." "Oh, I see. No need to say more," Nixie said with a weakened smile. I had no clue what that was about. "Where are your sisters?" I had to ask. Lexi said, "Pixie has a rehearsal today, if you can call it that, and Nixie is out earning her keep." I struggle not to blink at the esoteric answers from a pony who has only just recently crossed the border between filly and mare. Trixie acted as though she hadn't heard one word of what was being spoke around her, let alone that the pony who saved her life and at the same time shattered her carefully crafted illusion of being the greatest mage of all of Equestria sitting right next to her. With a full belly not bothering with normal morning grooming, I couldn't take it anymore. "Trixie, stand here, please," I said out with a slightly forceful tone. Trixie complied with all the obedience and automation. "Stay still," I said as she was going anywhere. Trixie's muscles lost in place instantly. Nixie and Lexi started as he just looked on, staring to hope. The memory spell confirms itself to each pony, making them relive the memories that truly mattered most to them and the memories that had shaped them into who they are. Of course, that's just a crude mechanical definition and isn't even fully accurate. As much as I wouldn't be the first to admit, it's always felt like to me that the memory spell was more of intense light and a strong wind, piercing the darkness and dispelling the black clouds inside my friends' hearts. It has woken Applejack up from her self-induced haze of not wanting to face reality. It had pulled Pinkie Pie up from the emotional pit Discord had tricked her into digging herself into. It had helped remind Rarity of what was actually important to her, and had it made Fluttershy remember why she cared for others. No, I admit something had felt very strange when I had cured her, but I couldn't put my hoof on what. And had it helped Rainbow Dash remember her friends mattered to her. Again, something felt weird when I touched her, but it was different from Fluttershy. I gently touched my horn to Trixie to get better magical conduction, like I had with Rarity, and let the spell flow from me into Trixie. Get out! A thunderous word erupted from blackness, breaking the connection and physically knocking me onto the floor. I reactively felt my horn to make sure it was still in one piece in the backlash. It was. Whatever that had been, it wasn't Trixie. Or, I hope it wasn't. Of course, Trixie's sisters checked on her first before me. Trixie shuddered a few times, but otherwise she was unchanged. Her colors hadn't returned. What happened? Is she okay? Nixie asked. I answered, shaking myself. I tried to use the memory spell to cure her, but something came between us. No, not between. It was like something pushed me out. Nixie helped me to my hooves. Trixie! Lexi's voice broke. Come on, this isn't funny. Don't you want to be better? You do, right? Yeah, I know you do. So, let the nice mare help you, please. She might as well have been trying to talk to a wall. Fine, see if I care! Lexi snarled at unresponsive Trixie, her tone in the complete opposite of her words. Younger Unicorn left the room to gallop. Nixie looked like she wanted so badly to say something, anything, but couldn't find the words as Lexi left. Finally, she turned to me and Trixie. Are you hurt? Is Trixie hurt? Nixie asked politely. I'm fine. Trixie is no worse than she was a minute ago. I see, Nixie whispered. I looked at Trixie. This had not been the plan at all. I had hoped to be back in Ponyville in no time. Rarity was just in case. I figured if something here went wrong, it would have to do with me not being able to cast a spell, or perhaps just spend some days helping to recover from being discorded so long as a way of saying I was sorry for taking so long. Not that Trixie would have done more than complain, but still, I hadn't picked out or chosen the memories that had healed my friends. They had, in their own way, done that on their own. And whatever had kicked me out before I had gotten a hoof on the front door was more likely still waiting if I tried to make another attempt. In other words, I needed a new spell. There was the academy nearby, but I needed my own research materials more than anything, and the best supplies could be ordered from Canterlot. Things had gotten much more complicated. I knew the smart thing to do would be simply hand Trixie over to the experts, those with magic experience that outweighed my ability and power. To those who knew how ponies' head worked better than one who spent more time with books than with other ponies. That was the smart thing to do, the rational thing to do. It was also logical and practical, and therefore the Twilight Sparkle thing to do. How soon until all your sisters are home again? I asked. This afternoon, I think. I'll wait until then. I think my best chance for helping Trixie is to take her back to my facilities in Ponyville. You'll be able to help her? Nixie asked, her eyes on the listless Unicorn. I'm absolutely sure. All right then, Nixie said. That settled everything. And with that, I had told my biggest, fattest lie since the Parasite infestation and made the most selfish, self-serving, self-centered, self-absorbed, self-important decision of my entire life. And I was honestly not sure why I had. I spent the rest of the day asking Nixie questions about Trixie. Sadly, since my experience with ponies wasn't exactly the best, I barely knew what questions to ask. And not knowing what questions to ask is just about the worst thing when you're trying to understand something or someone. I did manage to squeeze out a few drops of revelation that weren't just states and statistics. Nixie had Trixie made herself comfortable in the living room, where she sat in one of the chairs and stared out at nothing like a Philly's doll. Oh, and Mom and Dad loved us all, and we did our best to support each other as well. What was she like back then? Well, she always seemed frustrated over something or other. I will admit sometimes it was hard to tell what she was thinking. I swear to Celestia, I never seen Trixie look so happy as when my dad said they now have the bits for her to attend the Magic Academy. The only time she seemed upset was when Nixie said Trixie would fit out right in. Trixie wasn't doing badly in any of her classes. Mom said Trixie was upset she wasn't doing fantastic in any of them. I think we all realized Trixie had problems when she tried to run away to join a circus. Nixie told her we were 5 parts of a whole and we should support each other. Trixie knew that was a problem. Her teachers were all disappointed when she began to abandon her studies. They were all sad to see her go. Our parents were just shocked. She ended up giving her scholarship to Nixie. She became Whitebeard the Gray's apprentice. Of course, we were all overjoyed when Trixie got her cutie mark. I couldn't remember when I last saw her so happy. For the first time in so long, she wasn't sullen. She was producing illusions and pyrotechnics of the Wozo with her quinceañera. She even got Pixie to think Pixie was a baby dragon. Yes, she provided the entertainment at her own party. We didn't want to stop her. She just left town one day. She said her goodbyes and left. It was very sudden. It was strange too. It wasn't like her act was growing stale or anything. She visits, usually for the summer sun or winter night festivals, except when she thinks she can make it big in one of the largest cities that year, and she shows up for the occasional birthday. The last time she fitted out a season was when she made it for Master Whitebeard's funeral. She spent most of it hiding from the rest of us. She let the Whitebeard just once and ran out of the room. All 4 of us actually visited Ponyville a while back. We heard her sister was going to do one of her shows there, but we missed it entirely. Nixie was not happy. Hey, you said you spent all of last year in Ponyville. Did you see her show? I did my best not to put on some forced fake grin. I only really caught the end of it. My friends didn't talk about it much, but they were really too emotionally charged up about it afterwards. She left the middle of the night the same evening, so I didn't have a chance to catch the full performance. Please, 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 please forgive me for twisting truth like this, Applejack. For some reason, this tasted worse than the bold-faced lie I had said. Too bad. Trixie really knows how to put on a show, and she's a great storyteller when she tries to be and puts more substance and glitter into her act. I smiled and nodded. I decided I would not tell Nixie how Trixie had created a complete and total lie of a tall tale of Trixie defending her hometown from Ursa Major and then spreading it from town to town to increase her popularity and then passing it off as reality. Nixie continued to answer my questions and I didn't stop her. Then she began to go off in different directions that proved more natural and helpful to most of my questions. I keep saying we should join up in one big theater troupe, but Trixie keeps saying she works best alone. Mixie doesn't want to be tied down, and Pixie's scared they'll steal all of our chances for her. We never performed all together, and Trixie actually got upset when Nixie suggested Pixie and Leslie could learn a few of Trixie's tricks to spice up their performances. She left town that time before I even knew she was leaving. We didn't even know she was in town. I was stunned when I found her. I was actually rather happy until I noticed how lifelike she was. I was worried she was hurt or something or was sick. Then this court came to town and I'd rather not talk about that outside my family. Sorry. I understand. I nodded simply, slightly exhausted from the extensive questions and answer session. While the other 2 unicorns came home, Nixie had taken the time to call 2 others. One was a middle-aged black unicorn mare with wrinkles and a silver mane who introduced herself as Morgan. The other was a dark blue earth pony with a lighter blue mane named Goloris. Gorlois? I can't quite pronounce that. Nixie introduced them as her and her sister's parents. I was surprised, but I thought nothing of it.
That theory of mixed couples creating magical inferior unicorns had been disproved for over 50 years along with the pure species drivel. All of her family took the chance to kiss Trixie goodbye. Lois and Morgan keep looking me in the eyes, asking I was sure I'd be able to help their child, but I never broke under their gaze, somehow. Lexi was last, who had to be pushed to give Trixie a hug. She went through the motions, but she figured that Trixie couldn't even tell them what was the point. Of all the things going wrong, this teleportation back to Ponyville was on the last thing on my list I was spending time worrying about. And miracles, nothing did go wrong. No sudden lunar eclipse throwing us into another universe, no mind swap, no splitting us into our good and evil sides. In a simple flash of light, as I visualized, almost some tricky mathematical calculations done in advance, where I was and where I wanted myself and Trixie to be. We were everywhere, then nowhere, then everywhere again, and finally in my library in Ponyville. I didn't want anyone to see Trixie who didn't have to. The unicorn whose tall tale had inspired two idiots to lure an Ursa Minor into a town might not be well received. Twilight, you're back! I'm so happy, and what is she doing here? I missed you too, Spike, I said to him as softly as I could. The joy of seeing his de facto foster parent was rather disrupted by seeing the lying smart aleck who had taunted and emotionally hurt said de facto foster parent made Spike's head swim. Twilight, I missed you too, but why is Trixie here? She's the patient I told you I was going to visit in Hoofington. What? Why would Discord waste his time on her? I didn't know that was a good or bad thing, and I could swear I saw Celestia's head lower a fraction of an inch. Seriously, Twilight, you said I was someone who showed all the signs of being someone who Discord did one of his one-on-one games with. I figured we were going to see Princess Lauren's secret or something. Not her. She's gotta be faking it. No way and no how that Discord would throw away his time on someone like her. Even if it wasn't that crazy. Okay, that time I know I saw her head lower just a tiny bit. Spike, that's enough. You're not helping. I'm trying to help you, Twilight. Looks like you're telling Pinkie that she was just jealous of Gilda. She's just bad news. Her head didn't lower this time, but it was like her expression became ever so slightly more blank. I put my hoof down. I said that was enough, Spike. Spike looked at me in shock. I remember how Trixie had humiliated Rarity during the show, and wondered if that was adding fuel to the fire for Spike. Twilight! Don't tell me you're defending her! I breathed in and out, trying to figure out what to say. I spoke with her parents and her sisters, and I've been serving her since this morning. There's no way this is one of Trixie's performances. Why? Too good? And they're all likely in on Spike, I said, running my teeth in a low, calm voice. I had held back a volcano threatened to erupt. Never mind, you responded meekly. I sighed. I need you and Aloysius to both look after her with me. What? You mean I played a certain boy to... why hasn't she said anything yet? Spike asked it, finally dawning on him that Trixie staying quiet this long was as logical as Pinkie Pie staying still for the same amount of time. I did my best not to sound sarcastic. I am fairly certain that just as Discord reversed the trace of our elements, he reversed Trixie's most obvious trait. In other words, her confidence. Fine, just cast a memory spell so she remembers that she's supposed to be acting like she's queen of the world and throw her out the door. I tried that. It didn't work. That's just profitable. Spike, if you don't stop it, I'll throw you out the front door. Twilight is Trixie, remember? One of the bad guys? Discord is one of the bad guys. Nightmare Moon was one of the bad guys. She's the pony who needs help, and I'll do my best to give it with or without you. Spike looks at me in total shock before finally speaking. Twilight, you know I'm behind you 100% on anything, but I'm worried you're just helping someone who's just gonna hurt you for helping them. That's a very real possibility if I can get Trixie back to herself. I sighed. Then why? Short answer, no one I've met who breathes oxygen deserves what Discord did to my friends and everyone in Ponyville. And I'm not making an exception just because it's someone who cared less about making friends than me. Long answer, there's a family who wants their sister back. They can't do it on their own. I'm the only moral pony who's managed to break Discord's taint on another pony. Then just ask Princess Celestia to do it, and then we can get this over with. I'm sure she could do it without having tea. No. What do you mean, no? You really think she'd turn you down? It's not that, Spike. Then what is it, dang it? Haven't we had enough complications around here already? I know we have, Spike. Then why add more to the bundle? Doesn't Ponyville have enough problems without you bringing in someone else's? Because I almost already promised myself I was going to. And I promised Trixie's family. And Celestia's been busy healing everyone's scars in Canterlot. She trusted me to help those in Ponyville. And last I checked, that's where Trixie is right now. Fine! Teleport her to Camelot, and then she'll be Celestia's problem and not ours. Stop talking about her like she's not in the room, Spike. And I'm not going to cheat. And personally, I think there's a part of me that's wondering if it understands Trixie better than others do. You're right, Spike. She's a liar, a blowhard, a drama queen, arrogant, and maybe just an egotist who enjoys humiliating others but can't stand it when it's done to her. I look in Spike's eyes, and that is precisely why I'm going to help her. Spike didn't really have much to say after that. For the next couple of days, Spike and Owlicious took care of Trixie, who I had to stay in my bedroom and myself on the couch. Spike, I said I was really taking things too far with that one. Trixie was as quiet as a mouse, and it got progressively more disturbing. There was no way in creation that Trixie should even be more quiet than Fluttershy. I researched everything I could about the memory spell I used to cure my friends. What information Celestia was willing to share about Discord, and I borrowed a lot of psychology books after I exhausted the ones in my library from various sources. I knew there was no way in Pony Hades that I could keep Trixie a secret, and I had no intention of trying to hide her if someone asked, but I didn't volunteer the information either. My friends were all happy to see me back, and there was no disaster in Ponyville during my short absence. I explained to Pony I was helping was staying at my place. Pinkie Pie was still sleeping it off, and what's that day after that? And the day after that. We were beginning to get a little worried. On the plus side, with a super intrusive Pinkie Pie out of the way for the time being, I figured there was no way Trixie would be forcibly revealed to the others. I am the world's stupidest brainiac pony. I explained to the pony I was helping was staying at my place. I repeat, I explained the pony I was helping was staying at my place. And do I really need to remind you who my friends are? Fluttershy wouldn't hesitate to help just about anyone except Discord. And I'm 50-50 on that one. Murray was just considerate good manners. Applejack would be a good neighbor. And Rainbow Dash would want to see what the big deal was with all her friends in one place. At first, I reminded myself that Fluttershy was not leaving Pinkie Pie's side, going as far as to ask one of the cakes to stand in for her just long enough for her to fly home, feed and clean her animals, and fly back at speeds that Rainbow Dash found impressive. And Rainbow Dash was counting the time Pinkie was asleep, like her waking up would signal beginning something both wonderful and terrible. No jokes, please. And Applejack and Rarity's own projects and tending to their own loved ones kept them away for exactly 2 days. Of course they coordinate their efforts to show up at the same time. Of course they'd be unannounced, and why not? We had an unspoken open doors policy with each other, as true as the Pinkie Pie swear. Believe it or not, I did not panic, nor did I make any pathetic, childish attempts to hide Trixie from them. Experience had taught me the utter futility of such things anyway. I simply led them up to my room and opened the door and let the cards fall where they may. Rarity gasped in surprise. Applejack just looked on sadly. Then I realized I'd been complete donkey this entire time. Applejack has been one who told me about Trixie in the first place. Of course she'd know. I felt like crawling into Princess Celestia and humbly asking if I could restart my tutelage with her from day one. The princess was right. I really did need to stop pressing my nose so close to the books I lost track of everything around me. My word! Rarity finally gasped out.
I steel myself from Rarity's tirade on what tacky unicorn had turned her beautiful mane she loved so dearly into a green worm-infested mess of stewing back in Ponyville. Rarity was on her side for a couple seconds, looking at me in concern. What happened to her? My jaw dropped so fast and so hard that it dropped the entire library shook. The fantasy flickered through my mind that Celestia had brainwashed my friends to be extra nice when I wasn't in town. She's the one who discord, Applejack said plainly. Ugh.
And she's been like this since Discord seemed the same to us?
Rarity asked in near disbelief. Yep, AJ said with no sense of humor.
Twilight, why haven't you cast a mimi spell yet?
I startled the attention suddenly back onto me and said, I've tried. Something keeps pushing me out before it can take effect. I can't figure out what. Maybe it's something Discord left behind as a going away present.
Poor dear,
Rarity said to the grayed-out unicorn, whom Rarity had felt garish just being in the same time zone before. Then I felt like an even bigger donkey. Spike has never experienced Discord's taint. Of course, he had no idea what it was like. Myself and my friends knew what it was like for Discord to down and personal on your inner streaks, being major weakness rather than simply snapping his fingers and twisting you to something wrong on a whim. And Rarity was far too generous to wish that fate on anyone. And it hit me twice as hard as I realized. Applejack is less than half of Rarity's manners, and her injured pride was harder to bruise but longer to heal. Applejack has just been as humiliated by Trixie taking up her anything you could do, I can do better challenge. True, Applejack would never be the kind of repay selfish revenge over the wounded ego against an egotist who's already lost everything they owned. And AJ was the one who told me in the first place. But AJ looked at Trixie like she was a simple pony in need, rather than this being the right thing to do, in spite of her personal feelings. But it wasn't like they were being mindlessly pleasant either, or treating Trixie like she was royalty. My head felt like it was going to start swimming and was going to forget its water wings.
I can't say you don't look better without that gaudy outfit, dear. But really, this whole grey or pale look just isn't you. Or any pony, for that matter.
Rarity snapped back to reality as she fussed over Trixie and was trying to get the unicorn to smell the world around her. You told the others she was the one whose ears are cute? Never mind, dumb question, AJ said, pulling up to Trixie's chin and looking at her in those distant eyes. Yo, great and powerful Trixie! How about a rematch? Just you and me. My pony muscles and hooves against your magic horn. Come on, show me what you got. Come on, come on! I was impressed. Trixie actually shuddered on her own from that one. A gruesome thought occurred to me that the weeks Trixie spent this way had simply killed her. She was dead inside, and this was an empty husk running on the reactions they were talking to. I had taken too long. I killed her. I tore away that horrible image. Something in there didn't want me in there, which meant there was something in there to be got to begin with. Applejack looked disappointed at the reaction. Applejack waved her hooves in front of her, but Trixie again didn't react. Rarity, ever polite, gently pulled me out of Trixie's vision in immediate hearing range.
Maybe you should hold magic contests between you two. Find something Trixie excels at and you fall short of. Besides chewing her mouth off.
I swear I could hear almost Rarity say. Nixie's words about Trixie's round scores came flashing back. I think that wouldn't really work. Trixie seems almost completely cut off from the world around her. I think she doesn't even recognize Twilight.
Oh, that's no good,
Rarity said with as much style as she could squeeze into a few words. We looked back inside the room to find AJ on their haunches looking at Trixie in the eyes. As AJ kept looking in her eyes, I was left in amazement. Trixie began to actually shrink back from her, and her eyes misting up. Almost any reaction was a good reaction. Trixie then began to turn her head from her. AJ didn't let her, and one hoof against Trixie's face. Trixie crunched her eyes closed and actually fell backwards onto the bed. AJ ceased her assault and stood up and looked at me. Twilight, I ain't know nothing about unicorn magic, and I know even less about fantasy psychology, but, I was amazed. AJ's ailment was about the only thing I could think of at the moment that might have been a new factor that could have triggered a reaction in Trixie, and I was going mad from anything AJ could tell me. But I think what's been throwing you is Trixie. Now hold your horses. I mean a part of Trixie. A Trixie in Trixie that doesn't want to come out. A Trixie that doesn't want Trixie to come out of the nice darkness when she doesn't have to look at the truth. Rarity balked. And how, pray tell, did you extrapolate all that when simply looking at her? Applejack looked at us intensely, because she was scared to death to look at me. Applejack, there could be a million other explanations for that, I hear myself say. What was having Pinky Sun's flashbacks? Except this here is the one that happens to be true. I saw inside her, Twilight. No, I ain't gonna tell you how. I barely get it myself. It wasn't x-ray vision or something, but I swear on great grandpa's grade I could see, feel, or something that Trixie is hiding scared in there somewhere. This scorched disease has screwed her up bad. Ray's eyelids leveled to say, no kidding! I wondered if it was a good or bad thing that I sent Spike out on an errand. Maybe seeing Verity showing compassion toward Trixie would change his tune. Can't solve every problem in the world, but assure Celestia I hadn't given up on solving this one. So even if I got past the guardian barrier or whatever was blocking the memory spell, I might not be able to find Trixie's memories to make her see truth of the lie Discord planted in her head. Once again, I seriously considered simply handing Trixie over to experts who had more experience about how ponies' minds worked than I did, but I secretly chose to simply be a donkey again and continue on the path I was already down. I knew if Celestia found out there was a chance she would deeply disapprove and ask me if a forgotten part of friendship was admitting when you needed help. I wondered if I was trailing Trixie somehow, but I couldn't shake the feeling this was my responsibility, like there was something about Trixie I was missing. And if I turned her over, I would never find out what that thing was. And something very important would be lost in the process. And maybe what happened Applejack told me was the key I needed to finally unlock the first door. Hey, Twilight! Spike ran into the room. You won't believe, Bertie, look, I'm sorry. It wasn't my idea to have Trixie here, but Twilight insisted. It's perfectly fine, Spike, Bertie said quickly. So what has happened? Spike started at the idea that Verity didn't mind sharing a room with Trixie and managed to collect himself. Okay, but you gotta hear this. Pinkie Pie's finally awake! A wave of relief rushed through us all. It felt so good. There was one less thing to worry about, one less friend we had to wonder about, and one more friend we could count on, and one more friend who was there. Spike, you look out to Trixie. Dice, want to join me to visit Shirku Corner? You had to ask Shirku, Applejack said as the other two ponies galloped out of the room. Spike, of course, would protest. Now hold on, Pinkie's my teammate too, and I promise I'll be back as soon as I can, I said, and didn't waste any more time. Though I found myself wondering if I was talking to Spike or Trixie. To be continued immediately in the next part. True healing. Get ready for plenty of surprises and maybe some heartwarming. You decide. Hey there, Twilight Sparkle here. I hope you enjoy my adventure. Hey there! Rainbow Dash, what are you doing? Well, I have my story next. Rainbow Dash, I thought yours was already told. Yeah. Then why are you here? Because I have a next story. I have a new story of my adventures. Okay then. It's not fair that you get to have a story. Yeah, I just came up with a new one. So see you, Twilight. Catch you on the flip side. Okay then. So, if you enjoyed this video, please click a like and hit subscribe. Click the subscribe button. Yeah, and tune in for my next story starring me. Reharmonization Rainbow Dash Part 2, True Healing. Well, this has been Agent Fluffy, and we'll see you guys next time. See ya! Stay in my bedroom and myself on the couch. Spike, I said I was really taking things too far with that one. Trixie was as quiet as a mouse, and it got progressively more disturbing. There was no